What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for March 9th, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Saturday edition of the podcast. Yet another rainy day, but it's a good day to watch some college hoops, so we'll get more into that in a minute. But first, let's start with a recap of yesterday's question of the day. I asked you, what was the greatest nickname in Philly sports history? And pretty much as I expected, there was not a clear winner. Everybody was all over the place. Everybody had their own opinions, anywhere from Chocolate Thunder to the Flying Hawaiian, the Minister of Defense. I had more write-in votes than what was on the poll. So my wheels started to turn. I think there's going to be something with nicknames on the horizon this summer, but stay tuned for that. The best way to do that is to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Everything will get sent to your inbox, so you don't have to worry about when things get posted. Flyers update. They were still active. Danny Briere, I would say pretty good at his first trade deadline as the general manager. They traded a 4th round pick for Eric Johnson, who's a veteran defenseman who won a Stanley Cup in 2022, which that is pretty much a good move for right now. Gives them that veteran presence, the leadership, the experience they need for this playoff run without giving up too much for it. They're in good shape draft capital-wise moving forward for their future rebuild. They also sent Wade Allison to Nashville for Denis Urianov. Again, nothing spectacular here, but it gives them a guy that can play. Sort of improves. Wade Allison probably was not going to be back next year anyway. So again, nothing spectacular, but I think they're set up now to continue this magical run they're on. Unexpected. It should be exciting for the NHL playoffs, which to me are always one of the best playoff experiences there is. But they're solid for this year. The future is bright, and I told you at the beginning of the season, you need to go all in on the Flyers as they go on their playoff run. It all starts today. Now, with all the trade deadline, everything behind them, it's a sprint now to the end of the season. They continue their Florida tour in Tampa. Another tough game for them. Excuse me. But it's a game they definitely can win. So be looking forward to that this afternoon. But that leads to today's question of the day. And I mentioned the NHL playoffs being one of my favorites because of how exciting it is. And pretty simple today. Of the 4 major sports, which playoffs are the most exciting? Is it the NHL, NBA, NFL, or Major League Baseball? Let me know. 267-495-8531. Get you in on the voice and text line. Let me know, because I certainly can make the case for all of them. But to me, there's something about NHL playoffs because really it's the only one, maybe Major League Baseball to a certain extent, and maybe the NFL sometimes, where a team can get hot. And we've seen where a 6, 7, 8 seed makes a run to the Stanley Cup. The Flyers did it. That was 14 years ago at this point. Jeez. But the Flyers did it 14 years ago. So let me know, what is your most exciting pro playoffs? To me, nothing tops March Madness, but 267-495-8531 gets you in. All right, so going from the future is bright to the Sixers now. 103-95 loss yesterday to the Pelicans. They did battle. I'll give them credit for that, but they got down 35 in the second quarter. It was ridiculous. So I don't know. This team is a mess. They're only a half game up now on the 8th spot in the playoffs, and I think a lot is going to come down to Joe's knee. But again, at this point, I'm almost like do a mini tank and not even worry about it. But we'll see where they are. Hopefully, Tyrese was shooting around yesterday, which is good next step for him clearing the concussion protocol. So hopefully, help is on the way. But man, that team just did not. I mean, again. I'll give them credit for battling back, but they looked poor in the first quarter and a half of that game. Whew. But I mean, you have Tobias, who's not the guy, and a bunch of aging guys or role players. So, I mean, it is what it is. Phillies news. Tawan Walker is scheduled to throw in the bullpen as he tries to recover from his sore knee. And I mean, I think he's going to be key. Like, I think they're going to need him to really improve. So I want to see what he does. Good news on the Brandon Marsh front. He was taking some at-bats in an inter-squad minor league game. So he seems to be on track to be in the starting lineup for opening day, which is coming up in like less than 2 weeks. No, a little over 2 weeks, I should say. Looking forward to that. But JT yesterday had a day, went 3 for 3 with an RBI. Bryson Stott 2 for 3 with a homer and 4 RBI. So the hitters are starting to come through. But more importantly, Ranger looked good. My boy Ranger, 3 1/3 innings, 2 hits, 5 Ks, and that's the Ranger we need. And I know I read an article that he's excited to actually have a normal spring training between injuries and just not really knowing where his place was the past couple years, knowing that he's going to be solidified likely as that third starter in the rotation. It's good for his mental health, but Gregory Soto looked good yesterday. Alvarado looked good. Sir Anthony looked okay, did give up a run. But these are all guys that are going to need to be solid and are key for that. So we'll have, coming within the next week or so, I will have my Phillies preview. So stay tuned for that on Back to the Future. Again, the best way to stay in the loop is just subscribe to the YouTube channel. When it gets posted, you'll get it. But working on the preview now. But I'm telling you, the pitching staff is going to be key to this team. Check out the interview I did a couple weeks ago as well. If you're need a baseball fix, a League Apart exhibit at Camden County College is just a great exhibit on the legacy of the Negro Leagues in the Philadelphia area. So go check that out. aleagueapart.org, and then check out the interview I did with Brian, who is the producer of the exhibit. All right, time now for our Bubble Watch. I'm telling you, I need to get that sounder. But Villanova women are in action today at 2:30 against Marquette. They currently are in the first 4 out. Marquette's on the first 4 in, so this is a huge game for them. And then the men have a big game against Creighton today down at the Wells Fargo Center. I really like Nova to win this game today. For whatever reason, they play tough at the Wells Fargo Center. It should be rocking. And Creighton actually does not play. I guess it's Creighton or Creighton. Maybe it's just my accent, but either way, they don't play well when they play in Pennsylvania against Nova. So hopefully that is a good thing. And I think if they can pull this win off, I want to say they're going to guarantee to be in the tournament. But I have to check Joey brackets later today. So we'll have an update on that tomorrow. Temple women have a couple days off as the American tournament gets underway as their reward for being the 3 seed and winning a share of the regular season title. Speaking of Temple basketball, lots of rumors about the men's basketball team yesterday about possible point fixing, I think they call it. They didn't necessarily say it was shaving, it was match fixing. But apparently they've had their eye as well on the Temple basketball team. And I'm not really sure what to make of this. I guess it came because it was unusual betting against the, what was it? Who did they even play that game? I forget the team they just played the other day, but whatever, the line was 2.5, and then it shot up to 8. And I mean, to me, I looked at that line and was like, Temple's only giving up 2.5. I thought it was a low line, and I mean, it's saying it's a match fixing or point shaving or whatever you want to call it that's a pretty heavy allegation. Personally, I mean, I think it's just a bad line that the books put out because I've been following this team. I'm a Temple guy, and there is no way they should have been. I really wish I remember the team they played now. It's slipping my mind. But there's no way they should. Like, I saw that and was like, I should bet that because 2.5, Temple is going to get smoked in this game. And sure enough, they got smoked by, 33 points or 28 points. But, like, and everybody's shocked. And I guess because the betting, like, there's whatever moved the line was unusually large bets, but I don't know what to make of this. And again, there's a lot of stuff going on, but I saw that line and was like, that is way too low for a Temple game. And like, I should have done it. Like in my head, I'm like, I should take, and I can't, it's bothering me that I can't really remember what team it was, but I'm like, that you should take that team. Like, and I don't know why I didn't. I should have, but I mean, the line jumped to 8, and 8 was probably, I probably still would have taken it at 8 because Temple's a bad team. So I'm anxious to see how this goes, but maybe the part of the reason they're that bad is because they've been throwing games. Who knows? But more on that story as it comes. But I mean, it's not like, and I guess if you're going to do something like fix games and do something shady like that, you take a team like Temple who is terrible. But like if you're going to put an unusually large, like, I don't know. And like I get both sides of it, but as a Temple fan, they're terrible. So to me, that was just a shitty line by the bookmakers, 2.5. Like it should have probably been a 10-point spread based on what I know about this team. I don't care who they're playing. I give them 10 points. Like they are a horrible team, unlike the women who are hopefully. I would love to see them make a run to the American, but more on the Temple match fixing or whatever you want to call it. But personally, I don't know. I need to see more and see what the results of this investigation are. My first instinct and reaction to it is just a shitty line by the bookmakers. Like 2.5, are you kidding me? I don't care if they're playing at home, on the moon, wherever, on the playground. Like Temple is just a bad team. And like I said, I probably would have bet that spread at 10.5. But there was some unusual action on it, and again, like maybe the unusual action was somebody saying that's a shitty line. Let me hammer against Temple, but we'll see. That was today's Bubble Watch, but we'll have an update on both Nova teams, and if there is any update on this Temple scandal, I'll keep you posted on that. The Union are in action tonight against Seattle in Chester. Looking forward to that as well. It's a good day for it to be a rainy day. Lots of good sports on. This is like the end of the college basketball regular season. You got Duke, North Carolina, Houston, Kansas, Nova, Creighton. What was the other big game? Kentucky, Tennessee. So lots of good basketball today. So I'm looking forward to it. Just wish that there were some Temple Owls playing. But that's okay because they probably shaved the points anyway. And enough of that. All right, Eagles news, and only reason I'm mentioning this is because I love this. Tiki Barber was on his show and said, basically pleading with Saquon Barkley to not come to the Eagles. We'll hate you for it, and kind of went on this rant. And to me, and you guys know how I feel, I've said it and been perfectly transparent. For me, the Giants are the bigger rival, my most hated team, even more so than the Dallas Cowboys, and I love this. And if they're going to get that up in arms, like I would love, because obviously he's going to help the team. It's not like let's sign a guy just to piss off Giants fans. That's like a total cowboy move right there. But to me, if he's going to help our team and then piss off Giants fans while we're at it, bring it on. And this, I like it better, to be completely open, and I've said it before, I like it better when the Giants are the main rival in the NFC East, when the Giants are good, because Eagles-Giants games, when the Giants are good and the Eagles are good, are so much fun. More fun than Dallas games. And I'm sorry, and I know I'm in the minority. There's maybe 3 other people ever that agree with me, but man, this is great to see Tiki Barber and the New York fans really worried about it, and I would love to see it. So we'll find out soon enough, because legal tampering, whatever the hell that means, starts on Monday, and free agents can begin signing on Wednesday. But yeah, he was like, go to Houston, go to Minnesota, go anywhere. Don't go to the Eagles. And I love it. And both Barber brothers, God, I hate them. But to see them all worked up about that is great. And just so nobody gets it twisted, I hate them in a rivalry way. It's not like Rondé maybe I actually hate. So But talk about a punchable face, and since they're twins, it's like double trouble punchable faces. So if Saquon comes here and we see Tiki crying, I'm going to love it. Speaking of faces, Jalen, the big news was he shaved his goatee. And while we're on, I don't know why this is such a big story, but it's slow time before free agency starts. But I don't know. I personally, not going to tell anybody what to do, but I would grow the goatee back because I almost feel like he has a punchable face now without the goatee. But I digress. The other big news out of Eagles camp yesterday were they got 4 compensatory picks for losing all the free agents last year. 1 third-rounder, 2 fifth-rounders, and 1 sixth-rounder, which is all Howie needs. Let Howie start cooking now. He's got a big week next week. He's got the draft on the horizon, so it's time for you to go cooking, Howie. And if you can make Tiki Barber cry along the way, I'm okay with that. PhillyGoat.com. What can I say about them that I haven't said already? Go check them out. Those shoes are incredible. I cannot wait to get those shoes. I'm going to order them next week so I can get them just in time for spring break. But get the fans. I love the Cape Mays, but then I was looking. The Reggies and the Schmitties are good too. Like when I say I want to buy a pair of each of them, I really do. Go check it out because they have shirts that match all the shoes. So PhillyGoat.com. Check out their wide selection of Philly sports-based apparel. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order when you go to check out. And again, I might get the Schmitties too, just because. Why not? But go check them out. PhillyGoat.com. Promo code Jim Montgomery gets you 10% off your order at checkout. All right, today we're going to go back to the year 2013. And on this day in 2013, Bernard Hopkins beat Tavoris Cloud by unanimous decision, to win the IBF Light Heavyweight title at Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City. Why are we talking about this? Well, it's because Bernard Hopkins was 48 years old and 284 days, breaking his own record as the oldest boxer to ever win a championship. His previous record was 46 years, 126 days. That following April in 2014, he won the WBA light heavyweight, breaking his record again. He was 49 years old, 94 days. And speaking of nicknames, Bernard Hopkins has quite possibly one of the best nicknames in Philly sports. And I know everybody was thinking the Big Four, but the Executioner is one hell of a nickname, man. And when he was in his prime and he came out with the hood and came out with the X's, like I seen him do that up in Reading. I don't know what it's called now, but it was the Sovereign Bank Center. It was a pretty intimidating entrance that he had. So I'm going to throw, and I know everybody had their things, and I have working out some details on some things down the horizon with nicknames, but you got to put Bernard the Executioner Hopkins up there. And for me, with Bernard Hopkins, it was the entire entrance, the outfit, the X, like it was incredible. But on this day in 2013, he knocked out Tavoris Cloud to win I'm going to make sure I get it right, the IBF Light Heavyweight title at Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City. He was 48 years old, 284 days, breaking his own record for oldest boxing champion, the Executioner, one of the best to ever do it, and just an intimidating nickname. So be sure to let me know what you think about the Executioner and where he ranks as far as nicknames. And then finally today, our Philly Sports Women's History Spotlight. We're going to take a look at Bonnie Rosen, who is a Bala Cynwyd native and a lacrosse legend. She's still currently the head women's coach at Temple. But she graduated from Harrington High, where she was a 3-sport star, lacrosse, field hockey, and basketball. From there, she went to the University of Virginia and played field hockey and lacrosse, where she was All-American her senior year and the team captain in both sports. So imagine being an All-American in 2 sports. That's like some Jim Thorpe, Bo Jackson type shit right there. But Rosen was just an incredible player. She won the national championship in 1991. I believe it was Virginia's first ever national championship for lacrosse. She was a 2-time gold medal winner at the World Cup of Lacrosse. After she graduated, she spent 2 years as an assistant coach at Yale before becoming UConn's first ever women's lacrosse coach. Kicked off the program up there and turned them into a national powerhouse. She produced 2 All-Americans and won 10. And she produced 2 All-Americans and 10 All-Big East players. From UConn, she went to Temple in 2006, where she's been ever since. She has 200 career wins, and Temple is always one of the top lacrosse programs, even back in my day when I was there, one of the top lacrosse programs in the country. And she prides herself on, obviously, the athletics part of the college athlete, but she really prides herself on the academics and has a ton of academic All-Americans and students who win awards. I remember being friends with girls on the lacrosse team and just how their study halls were very intense, and Bonnie Rosen was there to make sure they were doing their things, which you got to, especially in this day and age, you have to give credit for a coach who gets it like that. But she is in the Harrington High School Hall of Fame, the Philadelphia Jewish Hall of Fame, becoming one of the youngest inductees ever there. She was on the ACC's 50th anniversary lacrosse team. She was named Inside Lacrosse as one of the top 50 players of all time. And then here comes all the other Hall of Fames. She's in the Eastern Pennsylvania Lacrosse Hall of Fame, the Connecticut Lacrosse Hall of Fame, the United States Lacrosse Hall of Fame, the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame, and she is currently entering, and I think the season is, if it hasn't kicked off yet, they should be kicking off soon, her 18th year at Temple. Bonnie Rosen, lacrosse legend, one of the best to ever do it. Also, she wasn't too shabby at field hockey, and she was decent at basketball. She won some of the Jewish League championships in basketball. She was an All-American in field hockey. And honestly, a living legend, still coaching, and somebody who just brings a lot of energy and good things to Temple University, and just, again, priding that, or focusing on the athletics, but the academics of that as well. So shout out to you, Bonnie Rosen, today's Philly Sports Women's History Month Spotlight of the Day, lacrosse legend. Speaking of legends, on this day in 2013, Bernard, the Executioner Hopkins, beat Tavoris Cloud by unanimous decision to become IBF Light Heavyweight Champion at 48 years old, 284 days, breaking his own record of the oldest boxing champion of all time. We will continue to watch both the Nova teams' bubbles today, and so we'll have more update on that. We'll watch the Phils. Nothing, good day of college basketball, man. So enjoy it. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. Don't forget to vote for which playoffs of the major sports you think is best. 267-495-8531. Again, this has been This Day in Philly Sports History. I'm Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Saturday. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.